In today's episode, I wanted to share with you one finished object. I wanted to update you on my Fallow sweater progress, and also I wanted to share with you a special Christmas cross-stitch project that I've been working on and will continue to be working on up until Christmas time. And then at the end of the video, I have two finished sewing projects that I wanted to share with you, as well as to talk to you about two more sewing patterns that I'm interested in making. Hi, welcome back to my channel, Knitting by the Bag. My name is Christy, and this is my making podcast where I talk mostly about knitting, but sometimes other crafts from time to time, like sewing, embroidery, or cross-stitch. Today's episode will be a regular podcast episode where I'm going to talk to you about some of my finished objects, my works in progress, as well as a future cast on that I'm interested in making. And at the end of the video, if you're interested, I have two finished sewing items, and I've got some fabric for some other projects that I'm interested in making in the future. I also wanted to update you on my little embroidery project that I shared a few episodes ago, a little while ago. I don't have a lot of progress done on that one, but I do have some, so I wanted to share that with you, as well as talk about a Christmas cross-stitch pattern that I've been working on for the past little while. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, grab yourself something cozy to drink and maybe your current knitting project, and let's get started. So let's begin with my one and only finished object, which is just a basic ribbed hat. And I made this hat for my son, and he ended up actually wearing it to school today. So I don't have it here with me to show you, but I will talk about it and talk about the yarn that I used and everything. So I had originally chosen this yarn, which is jewel spun in the color turquoise sky. And I was going to make the Musselburgh hat. And when I started on that, and I had done the increases and everything, and I had gotten down to about here, and I was like, this is way, way too big. So I took it off the needles, put it on some waste yarn, and tried it on, and it was huge. So I decided that, well, obviously I did something wrong when I was figuring out my gauge and all of that. So I just decided I'm going to do a totally different hat. So then I chose another hat pattern, which is a free pattern, and I will show you a picture of it here. And I thought that that was a really nice looking hat with the cable pattern on it. And so I cast on for that one, and I started doing the ribbing for that one. And while I was working on it, I started to feel like I don't really want to be doing cables. I am working on another cable sweater right now. I was working on some color work, And I was like, I just want something basic to work on. So I decided just to knit the entire hat in the 2x2 rib. And then I used the decreases from the Pearl Soho basic ribbed hat to shape the crown of the hat. And I think it turned out really well. I don't have it to show you, but I can post, or I will put a picture of my son wearing the hat up here when he gets home from school today. I'll take a picture of him and I can put it up here on the screen so you can see. So this one is knit in this jewel spun. This is a 100% acrylic yarn, and I really like the color of it. This is sort of the colors, the teal, and it's really nice with the purple mixed in with it. And I really like that. His favorite color is teal, so that's why I chose this. And yeah, I made a gigantic pom-pom for the top because he still really likes pom-poms. I asked him, do you want one? Are you a pom-pom guy or not? And he really wanted the pom-pom. So I made the biggest pom-pom that I could because this is a huge ball of yarn. And I'm still left with all of this even after making the pom-pom, but I just wanted to use as much of the yarn as I could. So it is a very big jam-packed pom-pom and I love it. And so I used this yarn last year to make some cable hats for myself and my son, my husband. I made one for my sister. I made a bunch of them before winter. And then when we wore them in the wintertime, they didn't feel very warm. Like you could feel the cold air blowing through the hats. And I didn't like that. And so I decided with this one that I would I went to the dollar store and I got a very basic fleece hat. And then I took that hat and I put it inside of the hat that I knit and I sewed it in there underneath the brim. And so now it's like a fleece hat, but with the cute, colored hat, that hand knit hat on the outside. So it'll keep him really warm. So he told me this morning that it is very warm and he really liked it. So I'm happy with how that turned out. So that is my only finished object for right now. Let's get into some of my works in progress. So my first works in progress I wanted to share with you is my Fallow sweater. And this is a pattern by Anne-Michelle Phelan. And it's knit using Rerum Natura Ulysse. And I'm using the color Ceder and the color Quartz. And this one is knit. It's supposed to be knit on a US 5 or a 3.75 millimeter needle, but my gauge was way too big, so I sized down my needles to a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter, and that really worked out well. So this is what I have so far. I've finished both of the sleeves, and the color work, I think I had the color work finished on my last video. So yeah, I've just been working now steadily on the body. And it feels like it's taking a very long time for me. Even with the sleeves, I was like, oh, this is never going to be done. And I think partly it's because I want it to be done for the holidays. So my plan was to have it done by November, like beginning of November. And that obviously hasn't happened. So now I'm kind of hoping that I have it done for the beginning of December, which I think I'm on track to have that happen. But yeah, I've been loving this pattern. Right now it's just, the rest of it's just the basic stockinette stitch for the body and then the ribbing. But I think it's turning out really cute. And one thing that I love about this pattern is the sleeves. So this is such a cute cuff, I think. You don't do any decreases at all. You just knit the sleeve without decreases until you get to about 6 inches from where you want the end of your sleeve to be. And then you do a rapid decrease first, and then you do about 6 inches of 1x1 ribbing. And I think that really turned out cute because it kind of balloons up a little bit before the cuff. And I think that that's really cute and playful with, the deer color work as well. And Yeah, so I talked about it last time, so I won't go into it again this time, but there is a lot of space in between the colorwork motifs, like especially here in between the legs of the deer. And so I learned how to do a technique called ladder back jacquard to catch my floats so that they don't show through with the contrasting color in between. And I think that that worked really well. I was really happy to learn a new technique. I thought it would be a lot more difficult than it was, and it's actually really quite simple. So yeah, I totally recommend that. Oh, I should say I also used some Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair just for the deers. I don't know if you can see the fuzziness just from the deers, and I thought that that was a cute touch as well. So I'm really happy with how that's turning out. Hope to have this done in the next couple weeks. I think I should. I think I'm on track for that. So my next work in progress, oh yeah, I wanted to say about this one too, is I hope to, or I plan to knit this one slightly cropped. I've been doing a lot of my sweaters a bit longer lately, and I do like that look, but I think this one I have plans to wear it over top of long black dress that I own, and I thought it would look really cute. Sort of has a high waist on it, and I thought that this would look really cute cropped on top of, like over top of that dress. So those are my plans. And that's good because that means that it's going to be less knitting time for me and I'll have it done sooner if I make it cropped. So my next work in progress is from Summer Lee's sock project book. And I chose the, let me see if I can find it here for you. I should have had this. Okay, here it is. So it is the, what's it called? Colorblocked ribbed socks. And I really liked this pattern. I have done some ribbed socks before. I did Andrea Mowry's DRK Everyday Socks, which is a fully ribbed, I think it's 2x2 ribbed sock. And that pattern is a toe up pattern. So this one by Summer Lee is a cuff down pattern. And what I really liked about this pattern is it's not all over ribbed, like you do the leg part of the sock, all like ribbed all around, of course. And then after you turn the heel, you only knit the top of the sock in ribbing. So the bottom of the sock is just stockinette stitch. And I really like that because it keeps things interesting. You do a bit of ribbing and then you do a bit of stockinette. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. So I think that this pattern is very clearly written, very clearly, and it's a lot of fun to do. And so I will show you what I have done. I've finished one sock, and this is it. You probably can't see in the video, but this is a sparkly yarn. Yeah, you probably can't see that. But it's really pretty and real, like when you can see it in person, because it has this sparkly yarn that runs through it. And I got this yarn at Knit City this year from a vendor called the Green Button Jar. And I thought it was really a pretty speckled kind of color, nice pastels and stuff. And I really like that. And then I paired it with another color that is, it's gray, but it sort of has a bluish tint to it. And I can't remember what this yarn was. I picked that up at Knit City as well. But yeah, I really, really like this pattern for these socks because I feel like when I knit them a sock in all stockinette, I don't like the feeling because it kind of feels like it's slipping off. And I talked about this before that I felt like all the socks that I had knit like that were too loose, even though I have a size 9.5 woman's shoe, shoe size. And so my feet aren't tiny or anything. And I usually like pick up or do cast on 64 stitches. So you would think that that would be the right size or even smaller than my shoe size. And they always feel a little bit too loose. So I really like the ribbing on this. And I think that this will be my preferred sock pattern to knit from now on. Of course, I'm going to try all the other patterns as well, but when I want just a good basic sock, like rib sock, I'm going to use this pattern. And I just thought of something. I did purchase a whole bunch of yarns for new socks, so I wanted to share those with you as well, and I left them downstairs. So I will be right back. So I ended up picking up some of this Patton's Croy socks. I order my fabrics from Fabricville, and they also sell this yarn. So I thought they were having a big sale a couple weeks ago, so I just added a few of these to my order. So this is a really beautiful color. It's called Saltwater, and it's another aqua color. And then this one is kind of hard to see, and it doesn't say, I looked and it doesn't have the name on it, but it has this same aqua in it, as well as like a gray beige sort of color. And I thought that that would look really good for my son. This is going to give it some, I don't know if it's striping or what it does, but yeah, I thought that that would be a good combination together for my son. Then I also picked up these two colors, and this is flax, and this one is gentry gray. I don't have my glasses on. So I thought that that would be really cute. I saw this pattern, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll put it up on the screen. And I was thinking to make these socks for my sister for her birthday. So I might make a couple different pairs, but I got a few of these balls of yarn in the same color, so I can do different patterns on the socks, but using these two colors. And then the last one that I got is this one, which is called Blue Raspberry. And this one is a striping yarn. And I really like the colors in there. It's like purple and aqua and light blue, dark blue. I really like that. So I'm hoping to do some more of these Colorblocked ribbed socks with these new yarns. And I think that is everything for my works in progress. So now let's talk about my ideas for a future cast on. So I've kind of been interested in knitting the Lumme sweater by Sari Nordlund. I've had my eye on it for a while, and I kind of have been changing my mind, going back and forth, because I think it's a really beautiful pattern. I just don't like the last motif, or the second last motif on it. I just don't really like that. I like the big flowers, I like the vines and everything, or the leaves, but I don't like the last section of it. And it's just me, it's just a preference that I have. So then I started to think, like, I really do want to make this sweater, and why don't I just leave out that last motif and not do that? And so that's what I decided to do. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove, I'll put a picture up so you can see what I'm talking about, but I'm going to remove that last part there, and then I'm going to add the vine from the top underneath, and I'm just going to reverse it so it goes in the other direction from the one at the top, so it's sort of balanced out like that. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm really excited to cast this one on as soon as I'm finished my Fallow sweater. And then actually for the cuffs, like the sleeves, she also has a color work on the sleeves. And I think I'm just going to do a band of flowers and just not do the rest of the motif around it, and just have the flowers at the cuffs as well. So those are my plans right now. I might change my mind, I'm not really sure. But let me show you the yarn that I got to make this. Oh, and I should also say that I ordered this yarn originally because I was thinking to make the Bergman, I'll put that up on the screen as well, by Caitlin Hunter. And that's a very geometric kind of colorwork sweater. And I was thinking to do that and to kind of make some different adjustments to that one as well. But then I decided, no, I'm going to make the Lumme. I can make the other one later. But when I saw this yarn, I just decided this had to be a Lumme. So this is Woolstok worsted by Blue Sky Fibers. So this is a worsted weight yarn, obviously, and this color is called Lilac Bloom. So it's sort of a purple pink sort of color. I've been looking for something like this for a long time, this color, sort of a muted purpley pink color, and I found it in this Blue Sky Fibers, Woolstok worsted. So I'm very excited about that. And then I decided to pair it with this, which is the same yarn, Blue Sky Fibers, and this is the color Driftwood. So I'm going to be doing the color work, flowers and everything in this color, and then this will be my main color, my background color. And I thought that that would look really nice together. I was seeing a lot of these with white as the color work, but I wanted to choose something that is not so stark. I wanted it to be a little bit more muted. And yeah, so I thought that that would go really nice together. So I'm super excited to cast this sweater on. Like I said, I just want to finish my fallow sweater and get that one done in time for the holidays, and then I will cast this one on. So that's everything that I have to talk about for my future knitting plans. Now I wanted to talk to you about a little Christmas cross-stitch project that I've been working on, and this is called the Xmas Advent, and it's a pattern that I designed last year, and I had originally designed it to be stitched all on one sheet of like one piece of fabric, and then you would frame it and maybe put it up in your home for the holidays. But this year I decided I wanted to actually take them and make them separately and turn them into little ornaments for the Christmas tree. Bum, 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 ba-dum, 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 bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, 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 bum, 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 ba-dum, 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 So I have 3 of them finished so far. I've been working on, right now it's been taking me about 2 days to finish one of them. And so I have 3 of them done so far. These are them, so I'll show you. This is Little Belle, and this is day 2, and I'm stitching them out of order because I just get excited for the different motifs that I want to make first. And so I really liked this Little Belle, and then this little figgy pudding, day number 5. And then my favorite is this toy soldier or nutcracker, number 11. So yeah, I just stitched them, and then I used this cute polka dot fabric that I had left over from another project, and I had this ribbon already. So I just stitched them up, and then I stuffed them with some polyfill and sewed them closed. So I think I may not get them all finished for this Christmas, but I'm totally okay with saving half of them maybe for next year to stitch on as well, because it's a lot of fun, and I don't want to rush through it just to get them done, but I thought that these would be really cute to have every year to take out and put on the tree, you know, every day until leading up to Christmas. I don't think that I did the greatest job, to be honest, on stitching these guys together, and I think this guy was the first one, and it's super wonky. And then it starts to get a little bit better. And then this one is, I think, even better. And so I'm thinking maybe by the 25th, it will be a lot better. But anyway, I don't really care. It adds to the handmade charm, right? So next, I wanted to talk to you about my embroidery project that I started, I don't know, a couple months ago, I think. And this one is called the Bluebirds and Daisies embroidery pattern by Trish Burr. And this is what I have done so far. So I finished up with the flowers, and you do some little French knots in the center of the flowers. And then now I'm working on the back of this first bird. So not a ton done since last time, but it's coming along, and I wanted to take a break from this and do some of the cross stitching. So yeah, that's all I've got done so far, but I'm really enjoying this. It is a lot of fun to stitch on. Okay, so that's all of the knitting and cross stitching and embroidery that I have to share with you. Now I wanted to talk about some of my sewing projects. I have 2 finished items today, and as well I have some fabrics that I've just purchased for some new patterns that I'm looking forward to starting soon. So my first finished sewing object is a pattern by Sew House 7, and these are called the free range slacks. Yes, free range slacks. And I did this version here, which is tapered at the ankle. And these were a lot of fun to do. I sewed these in a black twill fabric that I purchased from Fabricville. And I had planned originally to make these a little bit longer because these ones are cropped, as well as I am a little bit tall, so sometimes I do need to add some length to my pants. And also I wanted these to wear in the fall and winter, and I thought I would just wear some ankle boots with them, so I didn't want them to be too cropped. So when I cut out my pattern, I cut out, well, I should first say that you have a front panel, back panel, and a side panel as well. And so when I was cutting out my fabric, I remembered on the front and the back panels to make it a couple inches longer, the fabric. But then when I went to cut the side panel out, I totally forgot. So when I was sewing it up, I said, this is not right. And yeah, the side panel was 2 inches shorter than the front and back. So I ended up having to just make it a little bit shorter, and it turned out okay. I made sure that I did the cuff at the bottom very, like, not too big, so that they still are pretty good length. I think they are at ankle length, so that's good. It worked out okay. But I thought that was a pretty dumb mistake, but it happens. And so I really enjoyed stitching these or sewing these. I was confused a little bit about the pocket section, I think, but it's a really neat way. I should just show you the pants. So you probably won't be able to see them that well because they're black, but they're really big, deep pockets here, which I really like. You have an elastic waist, and sorry, they're wrinkly, but I put some patch pockets on the back. Actually, I shouldn't say they're completely patch pockets because they do go into the seam here along the side panel. So they're stitched into the seam there. But I really like them. I think that they're very comfortable to wear. The one thing I don't really like about them is not the pattern's fault, it's the fabric. So this is a black twill, and it is so sticky, like every kind of fluff or whatever will stick to it and shows on the pants. So I don't like that part. And I also have two very furry, fluffy, hairy dogs, and so if I cuddle with my dogs at all, then their hair just gets all over it and you can see it. So that part I don't really like. Like, I can see a whole bunch of fluffs on it right now, and I just washed these. So whatever was in the wash with them got on the fabric as well. So that part I don't really like about it. Other than that, they are very comfortable. The pattern was very easy to understand. You have the option to do special seams. So you can do a flat fell seam, which I have never done before. But basically what that means is, I'm terrible at explaining how to do things, but you're going to, when you're doing your seams together, like your side seams here, you sew them together with wrong sides together. And then you're going to trim one side of your seam, and then you use the other one to like go over top and enclose that raw edge. And then on the outside, you do 2 rows of stitching. I don't know if you can see that, but it makes the seam really neat and tidy. And on the inside as well, it's really, you have no raw edges on the inside either. And I wanted that as well because I wanted to be able to fold the hem up and not have any raw edges showing on the inside when you fold up your hem. So that was a cool new technique that I learned. I thought that was going to be a lot harder than it actually was. The only thing, it wasn't really doing that technique that was hard, but because you have pockets that go right into the seams at the side, so you have your front pockets and they go right to the side seam here, obviously. And then also with your back pockets are sewn into the seam. Being able to do that flat fell seam where you're trying to fold it over and enclose the raw edge is very tricky when you have more bulk from the fabric from the pockets on the front and the back. So that was tricky, and honestly there are some parts here where I didn't quite fold it over enough, so you can see some of the raw edge there. Not a big deal. I mean, it was my first time ever trying that kind of seam, and so I'm okay with it. And these are just more of a relaxed pant, so it's not a big deal. I'm also going to put up a video of me wearing them so you can see how they fit when you're walking around in them. I might make another pair of these again in a different fabric, maybe some linen or something. And so my second finished object is my dress that's hanging up here. And this one is called, it's very hard to see, I'm sorry, but I will also put some video up of me wearing this one as well. So this is called the Heather dress, and it's by Sew Over It. And it is sewn out of Ponte di Roma. I'm not sure how to say that properly, but it's a stretchy sort of fabric. And it's like something you could make, you know, athletic wear out of or something. It's stretchy, but it's super soft. I really like the thickness of this fabric. I think it's really comfortable to wear and nice and warm for the winter. And this pattern was a lot of fun too. I really liked it. It has these really nice deep pockets in it. I was a little confused doing these pockets as well, but I did get them done. I just had to read over the pattern a few times and try and figure it out, which I did. So yeah, I really like it. It's a mid thigh length, so it's somewhat short, but not like a mini dress or anything. But I really like that length, and I like to wear it with some tall boots. So I really enjoyed making this one. I don't own a serger yet. I'm hoping maybe one day, but at this time I don't have a serger. And she recommends that you do, like, you need to, when you're stitching with this kind of stretchy fabric, you want to use either a serger or you want to use, or I don't know what the difference is overlock machine the same as a serger? I don't know. But yeah, you want to use that when you're sewing it. You don't want to use just a regular straight stitch because then it won't stretch. So she recommends that you use a lightning stitch. And I couldn't find a lightning stitch on my machine. I have a Janome, but I don't know what model it is, but I've had it probably about 20 years now, a little over 20 years. And I don't see a lightning bolt stitch, so I just use my zigzag stitch, and she recommends a stitch length and everything for if you're using a zigzag stitch. So I just did that, and that worked out great. No problems with that. And then I also used a twin needle, which I bought a while ago and I never used it. So I thought I'm going to try and use this for this dress. And a twin needle, if you don't know, is just it's one needle with, or one, piece with two needles on it. And then you just use two spools of thread at the top of your machine and just one bobbin at the bottom. And you thread it through just like regular. And then you can use that to stitch around the collar and around your cuffs and around the hem. And it does a double line of stitching. So if you can see that there. So I really like that detail, and I thought that it would be I thought that it would be a little bit trickier, but it wasn't. It was very easy to do. So I really like the way that finishes off, like when you're hemming and stuff, because this fabric, you don't need to finish the seams or anything, or the edges, because this fabric doesn't fray at all. So when you're hemming it, you just turn it up a little bit, turn it up a bit, and then use the twin needle to double stitch along the bottom. And that worked out really well. So again, I'll put a video of me wearing it and you can see how it looks, but I'm super pleased with this. One thing though about this one is the sleeves on it are extremely tight, and across here is very tight. The rest of the body fits well, but I just feel like across my shoulders and in the sleeves, it's very, very tight. And I think I probably I should have sized up one more size, and then I think it would have been good. So I'm not blaming the pattern, but I'm just letting you know that it is quite tight. I like it though, in a way, because I want this to wear underneath some of my long cardigans. And so I don't want a bulky sleeve inside of my sweater, because a lot of my long cardigans have a slimmer sleeve as well. So this does work really well. It doesn't get all bunched up inside my sleeve of my sweater. So I guess it did turn out good. It just does feel a little bit tight, especially across the shoulders. Although I do have broader shoulders. I've talked about this before. So maybe that's it as well. But I think if I had sized up, I wouldn't have had that problem at all. So if I do make another one of these, I would size up one. And yeah, I think I would like to make another one of these. I just can't figure out what fabric I would want to make it in, like what color. I really like the black. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll do like a charcoal gray one or something. That might be on my list. So that is it for my finished objects, my finished sewing objects. Now I wanted to talk about my future plan. Actually, I have 3 future plans. So first of all, let's talk about this one. It's a pattern by Simplicity. And it is what is that? 8014. And it's a shirt dress. And I really liked this one. I liked the length of it. I would do the one that she's wearing, except for I don't think I would include the belt. I think I like it just basic like that without any waist emphasis. And then this one is done with buttons up the front. And I don't have I have to grab something. I don't have, like, my automatic button maker on my sewing machine does not work for some reason. And I think it's something that I'm doing wrong, because I actually have 2 sewing machines and my other one, it's not working either. So something I'm doing is wrong, but we don't have a sewing shop in my town. So I don't know like how to figure it out. I've watched so many YouTube videos and I can't fix the problem. So I've decided, instead of doing the buttonholes and the buttons, I'm going to use some of these black snaps. So you just hammer these snaps in, and yeah, that's all you have to do. I kind of like this because you don't have to go through all the trouble of making buttonholes and everything. So, and then sewing on all the buttons. I think that that's really great. And since, I should show you the fabric. I will be using this, which is another black twill fabric. And I'm hoping that this one, it doesn't seem to be the same as the other twill. It doesn't seem to pick up lint as much as the other one. So I'm thinking to make it out of this one. And since, it's black on black, you won't really be able to see the snaps anyway. But I thought that that would be, easier to do and a nice detail. So that one I will be making soon. Another one I purchased some more of this fabric. I used this fabric to make a coat, which I talked about a month or 2 ago. And that's the inside of the fabric. It's a plaid jacketing fabric, and the inside of it is flannel. So it's super soft and cozy. So I had this left over, and I was thinking to make another pair of these free range slacks, but after making them, I decided I didn't want to do another pair just yet, and I didn't want to use this fabric that's it's not super bulky or anything, it's not super thick, but I think that if I make those, I'll make those in a linen fabric. So anyways, I had this fabric left over, so I decided I want to make a pinafore dress, and I chose this one, which is called Danny. And this one is by, it doesn't say on here, let me look at my notes, Seamwork. So this is a really cute pinafore. It has an extremely deep V, and it has pockets in it as well, which I have to have pockets in dresses now. I don't want to make any more dresses that don't have pockets, I think. But anyway, it has these pockets in the side and a super deep V. And I really like this because I like the look that they have going on here with the turtleneck underneath. I think it's really like cute and sort of 60s vibe. And I think I would wear it. I probably wouldn't wear it in the summer. Like, I'm only going to be wearing it with some tights underneath. So I thought that this plaid fabric with a black turtleneck and then some black ankle boots, I think would be really cute, and some black tights. So I'm excited to start that. I have printed out the pattern so far, and now I have to piece it all together and cut it out, which is the absolute worst part of these sewing patterns. But I'm willing to do it because they didn't have any of the already printed patterns, so I will be doing that with this one. And I'm excited. I'll probably start this project this weekend. Then my third plan is the lander pants, and I'm not sure if I talked about this a while ago that I wanted to make them. I think I might have, but I didn't have my fabric yet. So my fabric arrived a while ago. I still haven't done anything with it. And it's this bluish corduroy. It says corduroy, but it's a very, 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 very thin corduroy. Like you can't even really see it without looking super close. It feels more like suede in a way than corduroy. So I was a little disappointed when it arrived that you couldn't really notice that it's corduroy. And it also, I have this problem with fabric fill where their colors don't always look the same. So this one looked more like a darker teal color, or like a grayish teal. I don't know if that makes sense on the website. And then when it arrived, it was like, it's very blue. But I do still like it. I do want to use it for something. I've been trying to think of maybe what I would use this for, but I think I'm going to go with my original plan, which is the Lander pants. Now I can't remember who those are by, but I'll pop that on the screen as well. So these are really cute, like flared pants that have a button fly. And so I purchased these buttons as well to go on the pants for the button fly. And I think there is an add-on that you can buy to have a zipper modification in case you didn't want the button flies. But I'm going to do the buttons, and I'm going to do the buttonholes by hand because I think there's only like four or five buttonholes. I'm like, I can handle that. So I will do those by hand. And yeah, I'm excited to start on that. I haven't purchased that pattern yet because I'm still not 100%, but I think that those would look really cute as like a flared button fly pant. And yeah, then I have to start thinking of a sweater that I want to knit to go with these. But for now, that is my plan. Well, that's all I have to share with you today. I hope you were able to find some inspiration here. And if you enjoy videos like this one, please don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on any future content. And it also helps YouTube to know who to share my videos with, like other crafty people like you and I. I will see you again in another 2 weeks with a special roundup video where I'm going to share with you a lot of my favorite cozy cable knitting patterns. I also wanted to talk to you about a new cast on that I've just recently started, which is a new sweater I'm knitting for my husband. So I will see you again in about 2 weeks. Thanks a lot for being here. Bye.